2,500 years ago in ancient Greece, which I had known nothing about at the time. Now I know too much about. That were once widely known and widely practiced. Cicero, when he was writing about the subject of memory 2,000 years ago, said, oh yeah, the memory techniques, I don't even have to describe those because everybody knows how to use those. But of course today they've been forgotten. Once upon a time, people cultivated their memories. They labored to furnish their minds. They invested in their memories in a way that is totally alien from us today. So I thought this was all really exciting and ended up getting kind of a little bit obsessed with this idea of training my memory for this contest and trying to learn how to remember people's names and phone numbers and all this stuff. And ended up coming back a year later and entering the contest, sort of as like an experiment in participatory journalism. I thought I was writing something maybe about this bizarre subculture of people who compete, and that maybe I would compete myself, and it would help me sort of understand how they do it, and like at the very least it would be a funny afterword if I decided to write something longer about it. Anyways, the bottom line is I won the contest, which really wasn't supposed to happen. And not only did I win, I actually set a new U.S. record at the time. It was I memorized a deck of playing cards in 1 minute and 40 seconds. I heard a gasp. It's actually, the funny thing is, it's not that impressive by the standards of the international memory community, the memory circuit as we call it. There are contests held in a dozen countries around the world, a world championship every summer. Americans on the competitive memory circuit are like Jamaican bobsledders on the competitive bobsledding circuit. I like to think that we're the coolest people at the contest, but we are behind the curve in terms of technique and training, and have traditionally gotten our butts wiped at the international level, which I found myself in the weird position now, having won this contest, of being the official representative of the United States of America, with the hopes and dreams of 300 million people resting on my shoulders. And I went to London to represent, and I have props here. Hold on one second. I had some patriotic earmuffs made up. I should explain, in a memory contest, everybody wears earmuffs. Usually you wear earplugs under your earmuffs because there is no such thing as deaf enough in a memory contest. The last thing you want to do is hear the guy next to you, sniffling. So I came in, wearing these, and also memory goggles. Basically, this is like a super German thing. Everybody in Germany uses these. Don't ask me why. There's something about this whole sport that is like just appeals to the Teutonic temperament that leave you to make your own inferences about. Anyways, yeah. So the idea here is you don't want to see anything except what's exactly in front of you, because this is all about concentration. And the art of this whole contest, and the reason that I think I got so into it in a way that I never would have expected I would, is that what you're doing is actually, it sounds crazy, it's not about memory so much as it's about imagination. What you're doing in this contest is taking things that are unmemorable, like strings of random numbers, and transforming them in your mind's eye very quickly into basically imagined scenes that are so weird, so colorful, so ugly, so beautiful, so bizarre, sometimes so raunchy, that you just can't forget them. And the art of the contest is doing that really, really quickly. And I never would have guessed that's what was involved in memorizing stuff. So what I thought we should do is actually do an event from the U.S. Memory Championship here tonight. I've tried this in a couple other cities. It's sort of sometimes worked, sort of sometimes not. We will be able to establish once and for all whether Minneapolis is superior to Brooklyn, where I will say this went over comme ci comme ça. I have here with me, this is the official word list from the 2006 U.S. Memory Championships. I'm sorry, World Memory Championships. There are 400 random words on this list. In a contest, the idea is you have to memorize them in perfect order. You can't make one mistake. One mistake and you're out. And so we're actually going to do this here tonight, all of us. We'll do it. We won't do all 400. We don't need to set any records tonight. But just as a demonstration of what is going on inside the minds of these quote-unquote mental athletes when they're competing. And the basic idea is, for this event at least, goes back to a discovery that was made 2,500 years ago, according to legend, by a Greek poet named Simonides, who, the story goes, was attending this banquet when, to deliver an ode, he steps outside and the roof collapses, kills everybody inside. Not only kills them, mangles all the bodies beyond all recognition, so that nobody can say who should be buried where. It's one tragedy compounding another. And Simonides closes his eyes and has this realization, which is that he can see each of the guests at the banquet sitting in their seats. And what he figured out is something that I think most of us intuitively know, which is that we actually, for all of our complaining about how bad our memories are, have really good memories for certain kinds of information. In this case, he realized that his visual and spatial memory was actually really good. He remembered where all these people were sitting. Furthermore, he realized if it hadn't been people sitting around that table, but rather images of things that he actually wanted to remember, he would have remembered those instead. So that's what we're going to do here now. That technique which he invented come to be known as a memory palace, the same technique that Cicero used to memorize his speeches, that medieval scholars used to memorize entire books. So what it involves is we're going to take a building that everybody here knows really well, something that they're intimately familiar with. It should be the house where you live. And what we're going to do is we're going to walk through that house in our mind's eye and deposit images of these things that we're being asked to remember here. And we're going to try and make those images as weird and colorful and beautiful and ugly and raunchy and gory and emotionally either happy or sad or angry or as we possibly can. We want to give them as many associations as possible. So imagine yourself at the front door of your house and try and see the first word on this list, which is fox. Try and see a fox. Maybe make it a foxy fox. Maybe it's like a fox that's doing something really dirty. Maybe it's, I leave it to your imaginations to come up with something that will make a fox really colorful. And then walk inside the door of your house, and the second word is license. So maybe we would see a license plate from the state of Minnesota. What is your motto here? 10,000 legs. Oh, of course, 10,000 legs. So maybe actually you'd see a gigantic license plate inside the door of your house with 10,000 legs. Boy, I don't know. Maybe it's like dripping in water, and maybe Brooklyn Decker is standing next to it, and she's in a bikini, and this is all. Oh, come on, you guys don't read GQ? What? Okay, he knows. He knows what I'm talking about. Believe me, he's not going to forget word number 2 is license. The third word is soup. So go into the next room of your house, the first room of your house. Maybe you walk to the left. Go into the first room of your house and see a gigantic bowl of soup. What kind of soup do people eat in Minnesota? Like something with cheese, probably? Chili. Chili. Yeah, okay, chili. So it's like a big bowl of chili and somebody's swimming in the bowl of chili. It's crazy. The fourth word is hair. So go down to the next place in your house. Maybe you enter the next room, or maybe it's at the other end of this room, and see, I don't know, something that would remind people of hair. Well, it could be any kind of hair. Something. Oh, H-A-I-R. Good question. What's the name? The cousin It from the Addams Family, the one who was like. So maybe we see him there. The fifth word is gerbil. We'll only do like 7 of these, just to prove the point. The fifth word is gerbil. Everybody's thinking of Richard Gere. I know it. You can say it. It's not true, by the way. It's not true. It's a dirty rumor. But if it helps you, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, ask the person next to you. So the fifth word, we're walking around your house still. We've got Richard Gere doing something terrible with the gerbil. I expect to hear from his lawyers. The sixth word is ring. So we enter the next room of the house, and we see maybe Beyonce, you know, if you like it, then you should have put a ring. Doing that dance, and make sure that ring is the word that comes back to you, and not like bosom or tush or whatever other things you might associate with that image. And then the seventh word is finger. So we will walk into the next room of the house and see somebody giving you a gigantic middle finger, and you're really angry about it, and you know, like you just want to throw a punch at them. That's what would happen in a contest, only this would be going, you'd be doing this really, really, really fast, and you'd be doing it with 400 words. So, if this were the World Memory Championship, there would be some time here for us to forget some of these words, but since we know that our subjective experience of time is highly variable, if you were paying attention earlier, we're just going to compress that down to till 2 seconds. And let's see if people actually remember what was on the list. Do you remember the first word? Yeah, they helped you out. Yes? You guys are ready to enter the U.S. Memory Championship. Just imagine doing that now with 400 words. It gets really complicated. They do this in like 14 languages or something. Not 14, but they do it in a bunch of languages. And you know, it's funny. The Chinese have a huge advantage actually in this event because they naturally sort of think of words in this visual way. The Chinese are now like, as in everything, are becoming the mnemonic juggernaut on the world stage.
But you still have to remember the picture.
Right, you still have to remember the picture, but that translation comes more easily, I think, to them. Anyways, I'm happy to take questions. There's the book's about the science of memory, the history of memory. It's about this weird subculture of people who compete. I'm happy to take questions on any of those subjects or on unrelated matters on which I may or may not have any expertise. Yes?
So you talked earlier about this guy that he couldn't tell what time it was or what day it was or anything. So I'm wondering, on your book tour, are you finding that all the cities mush into one another, or are they discrete from one another in your memory, and how are they?
The question was, now that I'm on a book tour, do I find that all of these events are mushing together in my mind so that I can't tell the difference between Minnesota and Florida? Let me just tell you. Minnesota and Florida are very discrete events in my memory, and for various reasons will be remembered separately. That's been one nice thing. We'll see if I do a bunch more of these. Maybe I'll come back and they'll start to blend together. Yes?
Could you please give an example of remembering digits?
Yes. He asked for an example of remembering digits. Actually, at the last reading I did in Miami, I try and mix these up for the sake of keeping them interesting and different and hopefully memorable, not just for you guys, but for me. In Miami, I was with the fellow who won the U.S. Memory Championship this year. It was held just last weekend, or a weekend, I guess now it's 2 weekends ago, in New York City. This guy, his name is Nelson Dellis. He's like 8 feet tall. I was on Martha Stewart actually, talking about the book. Yeah, that's what my mom said. And they showed a picture of me next to this guy, and he's climbing Mount Everest this week. Actually, he's leaving to climb Mount Everest on Friday. They showed a picture of me next to this guy, and Martha Stewart goes, "Oh, he's so handsome." And I'm like, Martha, what about the guy next to him? You're nice too. So he came up on stage and